Before Cristiano Ronaldo, before David Beckham, there was one footballer who became the world's first true football superstar. Fans admired him, defenders feared him, the media couldn't stop talking about him. But the same fame that made George Best a legend would eventually become part of his downfall. This is the incredible story of one of the most gifted footballers the world has ever seen. George Best was born on May 22nd, 1946, in Belfast, Northern Ireland. He didn't grow up with luxury, expensive football academies or world-class facilities. He was just a young boy who loved one thing more than anything else: football. Every free moment was spent practicing in the streets, improving his dribbling, and dreaming of playing on the biggest stages in the world. When he was 15 years old, his extraordinary talent caught the attention of Manchester United scout Bob Bishop. After watching the young winger play, Bishop sent a famous message to legendary manager Matt Busby saying, "I think I've found you a genius." It was a bold statement, but history proved him right. When George first arrived in Manchester, he struggled with homesickness and briefly returned to Belfast. Many young players would have given up on their dream. George Best didn't. He returned to Manchester, worked harder than ever, and slowly earned his place at one of the biggest football clubs in the world. At just 17 years old, he made his first team debut for Manchester United. From the very beginning, it was obvious that this wasn't an ordinary player. He wasn't just fast. He wasn't just skillful. He played football like an artist creating a masterpiece. Every touch looked effortless. Every dribble left defenders guessing. Every attack made the crowd rise to its feet. Then came the night that changed everything. In 1966, Manchester United traveled to Portugal to face Benfica in the European Cup. The 19-year-old George Best delivered one of the greatest performances of his young career, scoring twice as Manchester United stunned Benfica. His performance amazed football fans across Europe. Overnight, George Best became more than just a football player. He became an international superstar. By 1968, George Best wasn't just Manchester United's brightest star. He had become one of the most feared footballers in the world. That same year, Manchester United reached the European Cup final against Benfica at Wembley. Then came the moment that would define George Best's career forever. He burst past the goalkeeper, stayed completely calm, and gently rolled the ball into the net. It wasn't just another goal. It became one of the most iconic moments in football history. Manchester United went on to win 4-1, becoming the first English club to lift the European Cup. For manager Matt Busby, it was the fulfillment of a dream after rebuilding the club following the Munich air disaster. For George Best, it was the night he became a football legend. Later that year, at only 22 years old, he won the Ballon d'Or, officially recognizing him as Europe's best footballer. At that moment, it felt like the world belonged to George Best. But success came with a price. He wasn't just filling stadiums anymore. He was filling newspaper headlines. Everywhere he went, photographers followed him. Fans waited just to catch a glimpse of him. Fame, money, and constant attention surrounded him every single day. Slowly, football was no longer the only thing in his life. His focus began to fade. Training sessions were missed. Discipline started to disappear. The player who could embarrass any defender on the pitch was now fighting battles away from football. His performances became inconsistent, and his relationship with Manchester United continued to decline. Then, in 1974, at just 27 years old, George Best played his final match for Manchester United. The football world couldn't believe it. One of the greatest talents the game had ever seen had left the biggest stage far earlier than anyone expected. Leaving Manchester United didn't end George Best's career, but it marked the end of the version of George Best that football fans had fallen in love with. Over the following years, he played for several clubs around the world. Everywhere he went, stadiums were still filled with fans hoping to witness one more moment of the magic that had once amazed Europe. But the spark was never quite the same. His personal struggles continued, affecting both his football career and his life away from the game. In 2002, George Best underwent a liver transplant. Many believed it would give him a fresh start, and for a while there was hope. Sadly, his health continued to decline. In November 2005, George Best passed away at the age of 59. The football world mourned the loss of one of its greatest icons. Thousands of fans gathered in Belfast to pay their final respects to the boy who had become a global football superstar. George Best's story isn't just about trophies, goals, or individual awards. It's a reminder that extraordinary talent can take you to the very top, but staying there requires discipline, balance, and the right choices. To this day, George Best is remembered as one of the most naturally gifted footballers in the history of the game. His brilliance inspired generations. His struggles became lessons. And his legacy continues to live on every time football fans remember the magician from Belfast. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more unforgettable moments from football history, subscribe to History Uncovered and let us know which football legend we should uncover next.